All right, folks, buckle up. We need to talk. Because what I'm about to break down is one of the most bizarre and, frankly, chilling incidents to come out of the US Navy in years. This isn't just another story of a mechanical failure. This isn't just a bad day at the office. We are talking about two front-line, combat-ready aircraft falling out of the sky. A $36 million MH-60R Seahawk helicopter and a $70 million A-18F Super Hornet, both operating from the same carrier, the USS Nimitz, both in the same patch of ocean, the hyper-volatile South China Sea. And here is the kicker. Here's the part that should make the hair on the back of your neck stand up. It all happened within 30 minutes. 30 minutes. Let that sink in for a second. What are the mathematical odds? What in the hell could possibly take down two completely different, highly advanced aircraft platforms, a rotary-wing turboshaft helicopter and a twin-engine turbofan fighter jet, in the same half-hour window? Was this just a freak, one-in-a-billion coincidence, a catastrophic fleet-wide mechanical plague? Or was it something else? We are operating in the most contested, electronically dense piece of water on the entire planet, staring down the Chinese People's Liberation Army Navy. The pressure is suffocating. The operational tempo is brutal. When you ramp up operations, things happen. But this is on another level. The Navy is predictably tight-lipped, calling it unrelated incidents during routine operations. But we're going to pull this apart. We're going to look at the machines, the mission, and the terrifying possibilities. What really happened out there in the Spratly Islands? Was it bad fuel, as some have suggested? A cascading maintenance failure on a tired old ship? Or was it something far more sinister? Put your immediate thoughts in the comments below, because this one smells weird. The only headline that matters. Before we dive into the speculation, the tech, and the geopolitical nightmare, let's get one thing straight. The single most important piece of information, the only headline that truly matters, is this: all 5 crew members are safe. The 3-person crew from the MH-60R Seahawk and the 2-person crew from the A-18F Super Hornet were all recovered. They are back on the Nimitz. They are in stable condition, and they are alive. This is not a story of tragedy. This is a story of survival. It is an unbelievable testament to the most brutal, terrifying, and effective survival training on Earth, and we will get to that. But first, let's set the stage for this double disaster. The ticking clock, a 30-minute nightmare. Here are the facts as we know them from the U.S. Pacific Fleet's initial report. The date was Sunday, October 26, 2025. The location, international waters in the South China Sea, near the heavily disputed Spratly Islands. The platform, the USS Nimitz, CVN-68, the lead ship of Carrier Strike Group 11, currently on what is expected to be its final deployment before decommissioning in 2026. This is an old boat, and she is being pushed hard. Incident 1, 2:54 p.m., local time. The first domino falls. An MH-60R Seahawk helicopter, call sign from Squadron 71, the Rattlers, experiences a sudden, catastrophic emergency. The crew is forced to make an unplanned landing in the water. That's the sanitized Navy speak for a controlled crash into the ocean. The crew, a pilot, a co-pilot, and a sensor operator, are now in the drink. Search and rescue, SAR assets from the Nimitz strike group are scrambled immediately. Incident 2, 3:24 p.m., local time. Just as the rescue operation for the helicopter crew is spinning up, the unthinkable happens. 30 minutes to the minute after the first crash, an A-18F Super Hornet from Squadron 22, the Flying Deuces, encounters its own critical emergency. The pilot and the weapon systems officer, WSO, have no choice. They pull the ejection handles. In a split second, they are blasted out of their multi-million-dollar fighter jet, shot into the sky by rockets, and are now parachuting down into the very same patch of ocean where their comrades from the Seahawk are already floating and awaiting rescue. The Nimitz SR teams, already screaming towards one emergency, now have two downed aircraft, 5 personnel in the water. This is a full-blown crisis, and somehow, in a stunning display of professionalism, they get all 5. They pull every single one of them out of the water. Hats off to those rescue crews. That is heroism. But it leaves us with the billion-dollar question. What happened? To understand that, you have to understand what these machines are. These aren't just a helicopter and a jet. Deep dive. The MH-60R Seahawk, the brain. Let's get one thing clear. The MH-60R Seahawk is not a transport helicopter. It's not an Uber for the Admiral. This aircraft is the single most advanced anti-submarine warfare, ASW, and surface search platform in the entire Navy. Think of it as the brain and guard dog of the entire carrier strike group. While the F-18s are the long-range spear, the MH-60R is the shield. Its entire job is to fly in a protective bubble around the carrier, hunting for the one thing that can kill a supercarrier: a quiet enemy submarine. It does this by dropping sonar buoys into the water, listening for the faintest acoustic signature. It has a dipping sonar it can lower into the ocean. It's equipped with advanced surface search radar that can spot a periscope from miles away. And this thing has teeth. It's not just a sensor pod, it's a killer. The MH-60R carries AGM-114 Hellfire missiles to take out small surface threats, and more terrifyingly, Mk-54 torpedoes. That's right, a helicopter that hunts and kills submarines. It is the eyes, ears, and subconscious of the strike group, constantly sniffing out threats below the waves. Losing one isn't just an inconvenience. It's like going blind in one eye. The fact that this brain was the first to go down is interesting. Deep dive. The A-18F Super Hornet, the workhorse. 30 minutes later, the workhorse of the fleet goes down. The A-18F Super Hornet is the backbone of naval aviation. It is the multi-role fighter that does everything. Air-to-air dogfights? Check. Air-to-ground bombing? Check. Close air support? Check. Fleet defense? Check. It can even act as a buddy refueling tanker. But this wasn't just any Super Hornet. It was the F model. That F means it's a 2-seater. You have a pilot in the front and a weapon systems officer, or WSO, pronounced Wizzo, in the back. As a former F-15E Strike Eagle pilot, I can tell you exactly why this is so critical. The 2-seat platform is a game changer. It's the difference between a quarterback trying to run the ball himself and a quarterback who has a full view of the field and can direct the entire play. With a WSO in the back, the pilot can focus on one thing: flying the jet. Flying at 500 feet off the ocean, dodging rocks, pulling Gs, that is a full-time job. Meanwhile, the WSO in the back is the true tactician. They are running the radar, managing the sensors, reading license plates on the ground from 20 miles away with the targeting pod, and coordinating with other assets. The F-18F is uniquely suited to be the quarterback for the Navy's next-gen drone wingmen, the Collaborative Combat Aircraft, CCAs. The WSO will be the one controlling those drones from their backseat touchscreen, turning one jet into a command center for 5. This jet is a monster. It can hit Mach 1.9. It can carry 17,000 pounds of ordnance, from AMRAAM air-to-air missiles to GPS-guided JDAM bombs. It is a highly capable, extremely advanced, and incredibly robust piece of machinery, and it just fell into the ocean. The why. Unpacking the theories, so we have our timeline. We have our aircraft, a highly advanced sub-hunting helicopter, and a highly advanced two-seat strike fighter, both gone in 30 minutes. The Navy says they are unrelated. My instincts, and the instincts of pretty much every aviator I've talked to, say that is statistically improbable. Let's explore the possibilities, from most likely to the most chilling. Theory 1. The bad fuel hypothesis. This is the cleanest, simplest, and most logical explanation. President Donald Trump even commented on this, suggesting it was likely bad fuel, and he might be onto something. Carrier aircraft run on JP-5. It's a specialized kerosene-based jet fuel with a very high flash point, 144 62 degrees. This is a safety feature. You don't want low flash point fuel sloshing around on a hot flight deck full of ordnance. But this fuel, like any, can be contaminated. Water is the biggest enemy. It can get in through leaky seals on the carrier or a supply ship. When you have water in the fuel, microbes can grow at the water-fuel interface, creating a nasty scum or sediment. If this contaminated fuel gets into the aircraft's fuel tanks, it's game over. It will clog filters, choke fuel lines, and lead to one of the most terrifying things a pilot can experience: a dual-engine flameout. This theory fits the timeline perfectly. It's entirely plausible that both the Seahawk and the Super Hornet took on fuel from the same contaminated tank on the Nimitz. The helicopter, with its smaller fuel system, might have succumbed first. The F-18, with its much larger and more complex system, might have taken 30 minutes longer for the contamination to work its way through and starve its 2 F-414 engines. This is a known risk. It's why fuel is tested daily. But on a tired ship, on its last deployment, in a high-stress environment, could a test have been missed? Could a sample have been bad? Absolutely. Theory 2. The op-tempo factor, the human element. This is the theory that the system is simply being pushed too hard. The USS Nimitz is old. She was commissioned in 1975. She is on her final deployment, an extended one, precisely because of the tensions in the South China Sea. This isn't a pleasure cruise. This is a hotbed. China is blasting its new J-35 stealth fighters off its new Fujian carrier. The pressure is on. The U.S. Navy has to show the flag, and that means flying. A lot. This operational tempo, op-tempo, is a grinding, relentless machine. It means 12 to 14-hour days for maintenance crews on the flight deck, in the wind and the salt spray. It means pilots are flying complex missions day and night. People get tired. When people get tired, they make mistakes. Checklists get pencil-whipped. A technician, on his 13th hour, might mistorque a bolt on a hydraulic line. A pre-flight inspection might miss a small leak. Under this theory, the 30-minute gap is just a horrific coincidence. It's two separate mechanical failures, a transmission failure on the helo, a hydraulic failure on the jet, that just happened to occur back-to-back. Why? Because the entire system, both men and machines, is stressed to the absolute breaking point. This is the human error and material fatigue hypothesis. Theory 3. The outside factor. The sinister scenario. This is the one that nobody at the Pentagon wants to talk about. We are in the South China Sea, the Spratly Islands. This is China's backyard, and they are not polite hosts. We have constant, aggressive interactions, lasers being pointed at aircraft, dangerous intercepts, and a constant, invisible war of electronics. Could this have been an outside force? Let's rule out the obvious. This was not a missile. There were no reports of explosions, no mayday calls about being fired upon. This was not a kinetic attack. But what about a non-kinetic attack? We are talking about sophisticated electronic warfare, EW, or a cyber attack. Could an adversary spoof the GPS signals, confusing the aircraft's navigation? Possible, but pilots train for that. Could they jam their systems? Highly unlikely to take down two completely different platforms. The F-18's systems are hardened and have nothing in common with the MH-60Rs. This is the least likely scenario from a technical standpoint, but it's the one that makes your skin crawl. China's kind offer of humanitarian assistance to help find the wreckage is a perfect example of this shadow war. They weren't offering to help. They were offering to recover our F-18 technology from the ocean floor. The U.S. Navy politely, and I'm sure very firmly, declined. This incident, regardless of the cause, is a geopolitical data point, and the Chinese are definitely taking notes. The real story. So others may live. We may never know the true why. The investigation will be long. The Navy will likely recover the wreckage, and the final report will be classified or heavily redacted. But that's not the real story. The real story, the one that deserves to be front-page news, is what happened after the failures. The story is about 5 American service members who faced certain death and survived. This wasn't luck. This was the result of the most brutal, realistic, and frankly, sadistic training regimen in the world. Let's talk about the helo crew. Every Navy helicopter crew member must, every 4 years, go through the Dunker. It's officially called Helicopter Underwater Escape Training, HUET. They strap you into a full-size helicopter fuselage in full flight gear, and they drop it into a massive pool. Then, as it sinks, they flip it upside down. You are now strapped to your seat, in the dark, underwater, upside down, and completely disoriented. Your only job is to unstrap, clear your exit, and get to the surface. It is designed to build muscle memory that bypasses panic. That training is exactly why those 3 crew members are alive. Now, let's talk about the F-18 crew. Ejecting from a fighter jet is not a clean, easy, get-out-of-jail-free card. It is a controlled explosion. It is a deeply violent act that slams your body with 15-20 plunges. Pilots call it getting shot out of a cannon. Flailing injuries are extremely common. You can break an arm, a leg, or your back just from the wind blast. This is why, in Air Force and Navy survival training, which I have personally been through, they make you do your water survival drills with one arm tied behind your back. They expect you to be injured. So now, you've survived the ejection. You're hurt. You splash into the ocean. Now you have a new enemy, your own parachute. The massive waterlogged canopy can act as a sea anchor, dragging you under and drowning you. You have to fight to get out from under it. Then, you have to inflate your life preserver, if it didn't automatically, get your radio out, and, hardest of all, crawl into your one-man life raft, a tiny boat that is notoriously difficult to board from the water, in full gear, with waves, while injured. These two F-18 aviators did all of that. They executed their training perfectly. When the systems failed, when the billion-dollar technology turned into a 40,000-pound paperweight, the human element took over. The training kicked in. That is the real story here. The incredible skill and resilience of these 5 individuals, and the awesome, swift professionalism of the MH-60S Nighthawk rescue crews who pulled them from the water. In the end, this incident is a perfect, terrifying snapshot of modern naval operations. It's a mix of high-stakes geopolitics, the high-stress reality of op-tempo, the lingering mystery of what if, and above all, the raw human courage that defines these warriors. Hats off to the crews of Rattlers 71 and Flying Deuces 22. And hats off to the rescue teams that ensured this story was about survival, not tragedy.